Hi kids, my name is Miss B and I am so excited to paint with you today. We are going to paint our Pikachu head. So when you open your box, what you will find is you will have your Pikachu wrapped up, 2 white wedges, which we will use to paint the smaller pieces, a foam brush, a detail brush. This little strip is so that you can hang your painting up when you're all the way done. And you will have 4 paint colors in these little packets. I only have 1 in mine because then I'm just going to use my paint bottles. And then the other thing you're gonna have that you need to give to your mom is super glue. She's gonna help you with that. So the first thing that you need to do is open up your box. That's what you're going to paint on. So your box is going to be nice and clean. Mine is dirty because I used it to paint other projects. So I'm actually going to flip it over so I can paint on the clean side. So once you unwrap it, take all the little pieces and put them to the side to make sure that you don't lose them. Then, do you see these little tabs right here? That's where you tear. So squish all of the paint to the bottom so it doesn't squirt everywhere. Oh, and before we start, you might want to get a paper towel and have it on the side, or a baby wipe if your mom has one of those. That way when your hands get dirty, you have something you can wipe them off on. Then carefully open up your yellow paint and squirt it out right onto your box. Do you see how I'm doing that? Okay. Then get your foam brush and put some paint onto the edge of that. And then I like to start painting where there's not an etch thing, like an etching in there. Because if I put it right on there, it's gonna cover that. And then I might not be able to see where I want to put my eyes and my ears and the cheeks. And I am going to paint this a couple of times, so it's okay if you can still see some of the wood coming through on your first time painting it. I'm going to set this down because it makes it a little bit easier to paint. I like to paint in one direction, so all of my paintbrush will be going upwards. But if you like to do it a different way, that's okay. And sometimes the paint does get in the etching, and that's okay as long as you can still see the guide, because we're going to be putting our 3D pieces over it, so that's okay. But we want to keep as much of it out as we can. Can you still see? Okay, now if you just did a really light coat, it is not going to take very long to dry at all. So you can wait for it to dry, or what I like to do is I'm just going to put that out of the way a little bit and make sure that you don't put your fingers in your paint. I'm going to put my foam brush off to the side. Then I'm going to take a white wedge. So do you see how it's a triangle? The skinny part, that's where I'm gonna hold, and the fat part is where I'm going to be painting. So what I'm gonna do is get the 2 circles, those are the eyes, and these, which are his ear tips. And then you don't need very much black paint, but see, I just did a little dot, and that's gonna be enough. So hold your wedge at the top, dip it in the black paint, and then dip on a clean part of the box up and down so you get most of the paint off your wedge. You don't want a whole bunch. Then you're gonna hold the piece down with your finger and gently go up and down. And then I like to hold on the side so I don't get my fingers too dirty. And you see how that painted that pretty good? And I'm gonna put that on the side. dip in the black paint, dip up and down, and then just up and down to paint. It goes by pretty quick. And then do the ear tips. If I go too fast, then you just hit pause on the video at any time, okay? Okay, then when you're done with that, when these are dry, mine are already dry because I didn't put very much paint on them. I'm gonna do it twice. Do you see how it kind of looks gray instead of black? So I'm gonna do that once again with all the pieces, and that's gonna cover it all that I need. So you can do it 2 times or 3 times, whatever looks best to you. But you wanna wait until it dries, or else it's just gonna pull your paint right back up. And then his ears and his eyes are done. So I'm gonna put these up at the very top of my table to make sure that I don't accidentally put my hand in them. And then this I'm gonna put on my box, just up on the top. Okay, my Pikachu head needs just a tiny bit more. There's one little spot that's not quite dry. So I'm gonna take these, they're kind of a weird shape. These are his cheeks, and we're gonna paint them red. And we need just a dot of red too. So you probably will have quite a bit left over, and that's okay. So get your other wedge, hold the skinny part at the top, dip into the red paint, dip off onto the side, and then dab up and down. And then we're gonna wait for those to dry. Since there was only 2 pieces, it might take a little bit longer. So while we're waiting for that to dry, I'm going to paint my Pikachu head one more time because mine is dry. If you still have to wait, just push pause and then come back when you're ready to go. So to paint his head the second time, you do the same thing. Just use your foam brush. And you can go whichever direction you want. I just like to go in one place. Another thing that you have in your box, that if just in case you're wondering what it is, it's a little piece of paper that's black. That's a piece of sandpaper. So sometimes when you paint, it kind of gets a little bit rough. So you can just use that really lightly and it smooths your paint right out. You don't have to use that at all. That's optional. Okay. And then I'm going to set him down to dry, and you can paint him 2 or 3 times, however many times it takes before he's as yellow as you want him to be. Okay, the cheeks. I'm going to bounce back to my cheeks, dip it in the red, dip off the excess, and bounce up and down. Okay, now's the time where I'm gonna push pause on my video because my pieces are all wet. So I need to wait till they can dry, and then we're gonna come back and make sure that you have your mom or your dad with you because they need to be there to help you super glue all the pieces together. I almost forgot one thing, and it's a big detail. So you just need a little tiny dot of white. So you'll have lots of extra white. So get the eyeballs and set them down. you want to get this detail brush, and this part, the end where it's plastic, I want you to dip it in the white so that you have about that much on there. Then what you're going to do is hold down one of the eyeballs and press down. And that's all you got to do. Just a little tiny bit. If you want, and this will just make his eye have like a highlight in it, so it will look really professional. If you want to do just a little bit more, when you press down, just do a teeny, teeny, tiny circling motion. That's it. Then dip it in the white again and try to match the same place with the other eye. So I did it kind of towards the top, so you want to do it the same, or he might look a little cross-eyed. So you want it to be about the same size and place as the other. And I just rolled my paintbrush in the paint. That's okay. So you're still gonna use this later, so don't mess with this until it dries, but you're gonna use this for the last step, which we'll go over that. But I'm gonna push pause one more time and let everything dry. So eat your treat, do something fun, and then come back as soon as your pieces are dry. Okay, when everything is dry, lay your pieces out how they should go. So the cheeks, I have mine, there we go, so that it will look like that. Then this is where your mom needs to help you. She needs to get the super glue, and on the back of the piece, it's not going to take very much at all. Just do like a little tiny circle of super glue and line it up with the etch, and then hold it down for like 3 seconds. Then do the next eye. It doesn't take very much at all. And hold it down. Then let's do our ears next. And I'm just gonna glue just right there. And then kind of get them in the middle of the etch and the tip of the ear. So it's kind of like an outline for it. I'm so excited to see all the pictures of your finished Pikachu. So when you're done, ask your mom to take a picture of you holding it and either post it or send it to me so I can see it. Same thing with the cheeks. Oops, you know what I did? That's why I wanted you to set it down first, because I glued mine on the wrong spot. But that's okay. Good thing I noticed really fast. Oh, I put too much super glue. It doesn't take very much at all. Okay, so mine might not be quite dry, but that is what your Pikachu will look like. Now, if you want to stop right there, that's okay. That's all you need to do. But if you want to go a step farther, get a little bit more of that black paint. And you know what? If you don't feel comfortable using, I'm just going to do a teeny tiny dot. If you don't feel comfortable using this paintbrush, you can use a black marker, or if you have a paint pen, you can do a paint pen if that's easier for you. But I'm gonna go ahead and paint the nose and this mouth. So I wanna use just a tiny, tiny bit of paint on this paintbrush. And then you kind of just color in the lines. Do you see how little that is? That's all I'm gonna do. Otherwise, it's gonna make it really easy to make a mess. And then you just paint in the lines. And then just do a teeny tiny bit of black paint and start painting the mouth. And you just want to be patient. I think that's the biggest thing. Am I even on the screen? Can you see the paint? Or not me, but see, if you put too much on your brush accidentally, that's okay. Just wipe it off and get more. It makes it easier if you only have a little bit. If you have ideas on a project you want me to create for next month, so this month I did llamas and Pikachu. So next month you can comment what are some things you're interested in. Maybe you want more Pokemon characters, so you can comment your favorite ones, or maybe you want a dog, or do you want to paint the ocean, like a shark or something, or a rocket? So just give me ideas on what you're interested in, and then I can make that work. Okay, so when you're done, this is your Pikachu, and I can't wait to see pictures of him. And then have your mom, if you want to hang it up, you can use a command strip because that will make it easy if you need to move it for any reason. Or you can just set it on your dresser and be proud of yourself. If you want to keep your paintbrushes, ask your mom to rinse them out so that you can use them for other craft projects. I hope that you have a great day.